Bang! Needs Knives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? We do have a few topics to get through. I seen some of you guys were talking about some stuff that we will definitely bring up in the live. So let's get to it. Any advice on keeping Damascus sharp and keen? Yes. So what I would recommend is so there's different types of Damascuses, right? So, but just for a broad way to talk about it, let's say the majority of Damascus, if not all Damascuses, are going to respond well to stropping for the most part. Most Damascus are not made from or made out of super steels. So the majority of Damascus, I don't think I've ever even seen a Damascus made out of a super steel. Even Damasteel is made out of RWL 34, which is basically CPM 154. So a strop will work really, really well on Damascus. But here's the thing: what you're going to want to get is a coarse abrasive. So like I would recommend getting like 12 micron gunny juice, or if you want to go with like stroppy stuff, whatever their coarsest that they have is. We can look that up if you guys want. But the beautiful thing with stroppy stuff is it's more expensive. It is, but it's color matched. So you can see the color, and that will tell you what micron you have on your strop, which is actually really good because like strops like this, right? Let's say I have 12 micron on here. How would I know? How would I know? I wouldn't know because it just, it's only one color, but really good stuff. So get a firm leather, a flesh side leather, or not the suede, right? Not the furry stuff. Get the dense stuff, and then get yourself some gunny juice or stroppy stuff, one of the two. And then, I can link them down in the description. I have some in my store as far as the gunny juice goes. I can find some more here if you guys need it. But get the firm strop, and then because it'll be easier to spread and it'll last a lot longer. If you get the suede stuff, the problem is that it'll just soak right in and it won't allow you to spread it. Like if you look at this stuff, you'll see. Is this one almost out? No, it's still good. I don't know. What the hell's going on with this pump? Pretty sure. Anyways, I got a little tiny bit, but you can see it right there, just that little bit. See how easily it spreads? Now, if this was the furry stuff, it would have just soaked right in. Like it wouldn't even allow me to spread it. So, what's going on with this one? I might have to fix this one because there's still juice in there. I have so many of these though, so I might not have used this one in a while. There it goes. But yeah, anyways, 12 micron is really good. I recommend everybody get a high mic or a low micron of some sort, because that's what is going to work the best. Like a lot of times, so when people strop, right, you'll see a lot of people stropping and they're like, it's not doing anything, right? But they're doing they're stropping with like a 0.25 micron on a 400 grit edge from the factory. Of course, it's not working really good, right? The abrasive is entirely way too fine. Now, if you were coming off of the stone and doing deburring or something like that, then yeah, it'd work just fine. But when you're talking about edge maintenance, right? Edge maintenance, you have to, if your edge, like most factory edges are going to be like 400 to 600 grit. In reality, they're like 300 grit in a lot of cases. So between let's say 3 and 500 grit. A 12 micron, let's look that up. What is 12 micron? 12 micron into grit. 12 micron into grit. So that's 1500 grit. So it's already 1500 grit, right? So to strop 1500 grit on a 400 to 500 grit edge, that will actually work, right? But if you say went to like a quarter micron and it's like 15,000 grit, it's just not able to. The abrasive isn't big enough. So get a low micron between like 9 and 12 micron. That'll be really good. Get a nice firm strop, and that will do you a lot of justice. That is what a lot of people should be doing edge maintenance on, especially if it's anything other than a polished edge. If it's a mirror polished edge, that's when like a quarter micron, half micron, 1 micron does the best. Not saying 1 micron isn't good for a lot of things, because it is. It absolutely is. I'm just saying, like, if you're talking about taking an edge that you've been using and it's a medium grit edge, using a coarser strop, and it's not even that coarse. That's the thing. When you're using it, in a lot of cases, like between 9 micron and a quarter micron, you're not even gonna be able to tell the difference, but the edge will. That's the big difference. Now, I've got stuff from Veneve that's like sandpaper. I mean, like, you literally, if you touch it, you can feel the diamonds in it. That stuff's aggressive. I've got a crappy 4-sided diamond plate, 154 sided, 150, 300, 600, and 1,000. Should I stop at 600 on D2? Yes, D2, you don't want to go over. I wouldn't ever go over 1,000 with D2. I stop at 600 with D2 always. I never take D2 over 600. The reason why is because the way the edge comes out, even if you say put them, like, say if you put a 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 grit edge on D2, the teeth, even though right off the bat it will feel like it has a lot of bite, once you start using it, the little microscopic teeth will break off and it'll get slick. So it won't have the saw teeth you want in your edge to bite into materials. By the way, members, tomorrow we have a Bang Gang live sharpening. So don't forget, if you're a member, tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time, we'll be over at the sharpening booth, and we will be sharpening and talking completely all about sharpening. Also, anybody who's a Patreon, the giveaway is up right now. So if you are a Patreon and you entered the giveaway, make sure you go watch that video to see if you won. Because so far, I've only seen, I mean, I haven't checked the emails, but I only seen one person that won out of 4. So it's a lot of money and stuff. So collect your shit. How fine should I take 3V? So actually 3V will go all the way up. You can take 3V up to a polish, to be honest. But, you know, a lot of things are going to depend on you and what you're doing too, especially with steels that will take a polish. So just because, like, say some steels will take a good polish and hold a good polish doesn't mean it's going to be the best edge for you. But yeah, 3V, I've had great experiences with it, with a mirror polished edge. I've had great experiences with it with a medium grit edge. It really just about likes every edge. Now, there's going to be some variations in heat treat, right? So, like, if you have like a really good heat treated 3V, it's going to do better with a polished edge. If you have stuff that's maybe a little bit softer, you're going to probably want to lean more towards a medium grit, and that goes for a lot of other steels too, like 20 CV and M390. 20 CV, when it's done well, you can mirror polish it and it does super good. But if it's soft, you don't even want to go near a polished edge. It doesn't take it. It doesn't hold it. Even though, like, if just a harder HRC, it would 100% take and hold that mirror polish like really, really well, like extremely well. But when it's on the softer side, it doesn't work out that well. It needs more of a medium grit. Veneve makes 100 micron paste, I believe. That's not, yeah, I got it. I think it's the black stuff. I got a bunch of their Stropping stuff. I've got, oh yeah, I read that one. Best grit for each steel. Yeah, there's in my video right there. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, I do have a video on the best grit for each steel. Now, I made an old video. That's the one you want to stay away from, because there's 2 or 3 steels that I mentioned on there that I was actually wrong about. You know, from the experience I had at the time was limited, but then after like a year or so more of dealing with that steel, you know, and dealing with it hundreds of, you know, more times, I came to a different conclusion. So And that's why I remade that video, was to correct the couple steals that I was mistaken on. Hey, Jared, is there a huge difference between the titanium Tribeca and the denim micarta version? I don't know. I haven't tried the denim one. That's what I was wondering, because damn it, this thing is good. I don't know. I have no idea. I heard other people saying they love their micarta one, but I don't know, because I haven't tried it, but the sound and just the feeling of this one. Let me explain something. So I was thinking about this before we went live. What is so satisfying about this action? Well, the detent is nice and strong. So when you break it, as soon as you break it, it has this unique feeling where as soon as you break it, it already feels locked up. So it's almost like instantaneous. Like, it's just there. So that has a unique feeling where it feels like the thing only had to go this far to lock up. You know what I mean? Because it goes so fast. So it's almost also like once it gets to here, the blade gets yanked in, and it's just that lock bar engaging, which is so satisfying. Then you have this super minimal flipper tab. I mean, this thing is ridiculous. If I would look at this, like if somebody handed me this and I didn't get to flick it, I'd say, yeah, that's not a good flipper tab. I would 100% already pass judgment towards this and think it was shit. But when you get it, man, the detent is tuned perfectly for this flipper tab. It just, as soon as you break the detent, it's coming out. Like, I don't know if I mean, I'm sure I can fit. Yeah, if I cheat, I can fail it. But as long as I just try, it's cranking out there. And then if I give effort, holy cow. And like I said, the same thing with the flipper tab. As soon as you break it, it's like it doesn't have to go far. It's almost kind of like, if you guys know the incisor, the CV incisor, that is a karambit, and it only has to go like that far, right? Because it's a karambit. So it has a unique feeling too, where it feels like it was supposed to travel all the way up, but since it only travels a little, kind of like the Streelet too. The Streelet, same way. When you snap that thing out, it doesn't have to go far. This has a similar feeling without, while still locking up all the way. I've got my first Kizer. I'm super happy with it. I got the Sheepdog XL. Hell yeah, that's a beast. Good for you. I actually wanted to talk about a Kizer, the Kizer Brat. I'm not sure if there's any available right now. Let me just see really quick. Not there. Oh, no. I don't think there's any available right now, so I'm sorry I'm talking about it, but they'll be available soon. But this is a good one. This is a good one. It's an integral G10 integral. Come on. G10 integral, which makes this thing oh so comfortable. People don't they don't take into consideration, like, when you have an integral, not only how difficult it is for them to make an integral, but then some of the benefits. So let's go over a few benefits of an integral. One, you don't have parts shifting, right? Because, like, if I take a knife with two scales, right? Two scales, you have parts shifting and the chances of things coming apart. No, that's not saying the pivot can't back out, right? But you don't have parts down here, anything moving. So it makes it to where the handle is much more solid. Then, because it wraps around right here in the hand, you have that nice comfortable feeling, almost like a pistol, like where it's so comfortable in the back of your hand or in your palm. And then this one has amazing action. I actually, my pivot was coming loose, and it was probably just, for me flicking it like crazy, but I didn't realize it was play, and I felt some up and down. I was like, oh shit. I started spine whacking the shit out of it. It didn't fail. But then I realized, oh, the pivot's just a little loose. So once I tighten the pivot, it's rock solid now, like a vault. It's great. And I'm surprised, actually. I got to give it credit, because the pivot backed out and it had up and down, and it still didn't fail through the spine whack test. And I should have never did that. Like, if something would have broke, it'd have been 100% my fault, not even the knife's fault, but it did good. But yeah, man, beautiful blade shape. Love the swedge, love the stonewash. I do wish the tip was about right there instead of right here, but it's still good. Still good to go. Stupid smooth action. I wonder if they're going to do a premium version of this. That'd be pretty awesome. I can't believe how fast that one sold out. Thanks, Todd. I appreciate it, brother. You will see the moderators are linking a lot of the things I'm saying and putting in affiliate links down in or into the comments for you guys to check out if you guys want. The boa design is cool, but I don't like Artisan, and I'm definitely not for that money. Okay, so let's talk about it. I'm just gonna grab one of them for right now, maybe two of them. So I do want to talk about one, the S35 VM, and two, we'll talk about the price. So I don't think the price is bad at all. That's the time to ask. I don't think the price is bad because as long as you're getting in on the Kickstarter, yes, I know the price when it comes out. Yeah, I think that's horrible. I think that's a fucking ridiculous price. But that's not the point. Isn't about. You guys already seen the video, so I don't need to show all the versions. And if you guys want, I can pop it up on the screen. I'm just breaking one of them out, and I just have these boxes weren't labeled, so I didn't know which one it was. So we got the jigged one. So one thing, no, I don't think it's worth the price after the Kickstarter's over. I do not. I think that's entirely way too expensive. I do, however, think the 179 is a phenomenal price, especially for this. And one reason I want to talk about it because some people were saying, you know, that price is a little steep for S35 titanium, you know, in the materials. But is it though? Is it? Because, you know, I think like what is it? That knife, I know it's made in Taiwan, but that Flytanium one's 200 with S35 and aluminum. Now I'll say, you know, it's right there where I think that's a good price. I think 200 is a decent price, but over 200, no, I don't think it's worth it over $200. But as long as you're getting it for those prices, I think it's a good price. Now, S35. This is why I'm actually happy about their S35. Okay, so, and I'm not knocking their 20 CV or M390. I want to be clear about that, but let's talk soft M390 versus well done S35. First off, S35 is a lot easier for companies to get right. That's why you rarely see bad. I'm not saying you don't. Like I've had bad S35 from ZT, from Zero Tolerance, but for the most part, you don't really see bad S35 VN. It was made for blades. It was made for knives. It's relatively easy for companies to heat treat. And most companies do a good job with it. Now, with 20 CV M390 204P, we see a lot of, you know, fluctuations in whether it's good, bad, soft, hard. So that makes it to where one, you really don't know always what you're going to get with it. But let's say from overseas, actually most companies run it soft. So let's say most companies run it slightly on the softer side. I would rather have good S35 than soft M390. But hear me out. And I'm not saying that the soft M390 won't outcut, or it will outcut S35. So soft M390, now obviously there's a level of which we're talking about. Ridiculously soft, yeah, fucking 5CR probably outcut ridiculously soft. But let's say slightly soft M390 will most likely outcut S35 by a little bit, right? By a little bit. But that's not the point, right? The point is well heat treated steel has a completely different feeling than softer steel. Even if the M390 holds an edge for longer, the feeling you get when you're on the stone, how good the apex comes up, how well it deburrs, the type of edge you get afterwards, and also the type of edge it holds, right? Because there is a huge difference in that. Like just because say the edge retention on paper will cut a little bit longer, but what type of edge is it holding, right? Is it holding a super sticky edge with a lot of bite, or is it just a slick edge that yes, it'll cut paper, but it also slips out of cuts, right? So you want to take all that stuff into consideration when thinking about, because a lot of people look at the price and be like, oh, it's just S35 VN. Okay, but when you like, would you rather switch it for soft M390, right? Like, is that what you're saying? Because if that's what you're saying, you gotta understand that, okay, well, you might have a little bit better edge retention, a little bit better corrosion resistance, but it also might not, right? Or not the corrosion resistance part, but it might not have the superior edge retention. And it might also, even if it does have the superior edge retention, it might not sharpen up the way you like, because soft steel is more difficult to sharpen than hard steels. And it's not, and I don't mean like the abrasive on the steel, because like a harder steel is gonna wear less, right? So it's gonna have better wear resistance. So when you're grinding a harder steel on the stone, it's gonna take longer, right? But that doesn't mean harder, just longer. A softer steel, it almost feels like you're pushing it more than it's cutting, right? So kind of like trying to cut Play-Doh versus trying to cut wood, right? Wood, you're going to be able to make a clean cut, and make a nice apex or a nice edge. And Play-Doh is going to be a little weird. Well, that's how like soft steel is. So it's almost like you're pushing it more than really cutting it. And then when you get to the apex, like after you've set your bevel, the burr, how is it going to pop off? Like, is it going to hang on for dear life and be difficult to remove? Is it going to take forever? Is it going to pop right off? Like, so all those things will determine how your edge comes out and whether or not you're happy in the end with your edge. Artisan never sells anything for the full price. Everything on their website is always on sale. I don't know about that. Honestly, S35 is my favorite super steel because of how consistent it companies to company. Yeah. For companies to company. Yeah. Most of it's the same, or at least good. You rarely see, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but for the most part, you rarely see bad S35. It's like bad 14C. You really just don't see it. It's such an easy steel for companies to heat treat. Most 14C will outcut soft M390. S35 done decently is way better than crap M390. I would, yeah, for crap M390, but just slightly soft. If it's just a decent heat treatment, but just slightly soft, like no 14C will outcut fucking just a slightly soft M390. Slightly soft M390 still gonna cut, like 350, 400 feet of cardboard. So now obviously shit M390 is a different story though, right? Like I understand, there's a big difference there. And there is some shit out there. Obviously there's some shit out there, but for most of the reputable companies, they're at least doing a decent job with the heat treatment. It's just slightly on the softer side, like We Knife Co., and many other companies. There's not very many of them doing it optimally. Like there's only a couple. We got Spyderco. Spyderco does a really good job with it. React. Who else? TRM seems like they're doing a good job with it. Those are the only ones I can think of right now. Maybe Shuro. I'm not 100% on that though. I'd rather have a company not upcharge for them 390 when it's shit and not as good more. But yeah, well, you say that, but it's still harder for them to machine. It's still more expensive for them to purchase. So there's going to be an up price. There's going to be a higher price because it costs more. And it costs more to machine. And the harder the HRC, listen to Mike Emler. Mike Emler did some knives out of M390. He did some custom knives, and he treated some like 64 HRC, and he was talking about like it was nearly impossible for him to grind. Like it was so difficult. And there's a lot of risks when you start taking it up to such a high level with large batches, right? Like if you're doing one knife, yeah, you can concentrate on one knife or two knives or five knives. But when you're doing 300, it's a different story. It's all about the heat treatment process for any steel. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, thank you, Todd. Yes, don't forget we have a Bang Gang membership live tomorrow for live sharpening. Anybody who's a member, don't forget to join tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. It will withstand from chipping, breakage versus the higher heat treats that have superior edge retention. Yep. That goes for every steel. Every steel, there is that balance, right? But what we don't want to do, what's up, Mike? What we don't want to see is them prioritize toughness. And the reason why is because, and I mean on a folding knife, right? If we talk about fixed blades, that's a different story. But on folding pocket knives, right? The most important part is the edge retention, right? Because it's a folding knife. Second is toughness, right? But what we don't want is them to get rid of the edge retention and go up, through the roof with toughness. And now we have a super tough steel, but we have no edge retention. And it's a folding knife. It's like, what are you doing with a folding knife that you need that tough of a steel? Like, really think about it. Now, if you're doing something so ridiculous that you need a super tough steel, then get a tough steel, first of all. Don't expect a soft heat treat. Get a tough steel and get a knife that can support that. Get the geometry, the lock, and all of that to support that. But on like a titanium frame lock knife, right? Yes, they're strong. Yes, they're tough, but they're not hard use. Like, yeah, there's going to be some examples of some really, really tough frame locks. But for the most part, like the majority of them are just strong locks. They're not hard use locks. They're just strong locks. So they're not made for batoning and axing and shit like that. They're made for cutting. So the most important part is going to be how long will it hold an edge for. But you also don't want to prioritize edge retention to the point to where there is no toughness, and now you don't have any stability in your edge, and it chips and shit like that, right? You want still some toughness in there. That's why there is a balance, right? I just don't like to see when they prioritize toughness. It's like because there is a spot, right, where you have the most amount of toughness with the most amount of edge retention, right? What we want is a little bit different. What we want is superior edge retention with as much toughness as we can get for superior edge retention. We don't want it really right here, right? Because when it is right here, we've sacrificed quite a bit of edge retention in order to keep it the toughness that high. Do you know anything about the Megaron Baragi? I think you can only buy it at White Mountain Knives. Nope, I don't know anything about it. Because I haven't had it, and two, I don't do anything with White Mountain Knives. So if it's a exclusive there, I wouldn't do anything with it. I know why they do. I just don't know why they do it, if that makes any sense. I know why they do it. I just don't know why they do it. If that makes any sense. It does not. But I know what you're saying. Null Knives is in here. What's up, brother? Shout out to Null Knives. Definitely check out his pre-order going on right now. I think I have it right here. Bang. If you guys want to get in on his new knife design, he does have a couple little changes happening. Not anything significant, but just some like thinning out the swedge, thinning out the grind a little bit, and a couple other little adjustments. But all in all, man, this thing is an amazing, amazing knife. Every Null knife has been absolutely amazing. You guys seen the video I put it in recently. It seems like everything that he designs is just knocked out of the park. The only shit in 390 I know of is some Italian knives. Yeah, well, yeah, no, for sure. There's where you could talk about some shit, right? That's when we get into shit. Now I'm not saying all Italian, and I'm not saying all Italian knives in M390 are going to be this way, but we have seen a significant amount of M390 out of Italy that's been just absolute dog shit. I've even had some, and I mean, just so bad, like 57 HRC or some shit. Outdoors 55 cut test showed 14C outcutting a lot of M390. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Like I said, you can, like I just said with Lion Steel's M390. Lion Steel's M390 is really soft. A lot of the Italian companies M390 is super soft. So unless if it's done, at above 60, it's going to be outcut by a lot of things. Well, I'd say 59, because like say 14C. 14C is usually done between 57 and 60, HRC, but it doesn't have the carbides in there. It doesn't have the superior wear resistance, but it doesn't mean that it can't be, done to shit to where 14C won't or will beat it. But on a balance of probabilities, M390 is gonna outcut 14C. Like, it's gonna run circles around it. What about 8CR 13 MOV? This crap is on so many budget knives. Is there such a thing as good? No, there's not. 8CR is 8CR. That's the thing. Even if Spyderco's doing it, it's still 8CR, right? So being 8CR, man, this thing is so awesome. It's a low grade steel. You can't expect it to do more than what it can do, right? So even with a superior heat treat and everything else, it's okay if you're gonna pay $15, right? And I wouldn't even say 20. Maybe 20 would be the limit, but for 20, you can get 440C, right? Which is superior to HCR. You can get 440C, you can get D2, in some cases, even like 14C. Not usually, but you can see it sometimes. But you can get D2 though, and D2 is definitely gonna outcut HCR. Now there's gonna be some shit D2 out there, just like with any steel. And a lot of stuff, unless if it's been tested, like there's a lot of shit out there that I don't even think was real D2 or real M390, unless if it was actually tested. Because we've seen so many of them test and come back as bullshit. Because most knife guys don't use their knives. It doesn't matter how hard or soft it is. The knife companies know this to get their dollars. I would disagree with that. So I think what happened was before that's the way it was. I completely agree that 5 years ago, that's the way it was. Maybe even a little bit longer. But once we had all these guys step up and start doing edge retention tests, and HRC tests and actual steel tests, they had to change their tune because like people like remember what happened to Benchmade? Motherfuckers were coming out of the woodworks to go after them for that super soft 3V they had, right? Um, and because not only did it test soft, it also failed the tests that like the actual real world tests, which showed how shitty it was. So when you have that, it does hurt that company, especially companies that rely on the knife community. Now, there's going to be some companies that don't rely on the knife community to sell their knives, right? There's going to be some companies like say, even like Benchmade, right? Benchmade, a lot of their knives go to police officers and firemen and shit who have no idea what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to knives. They're just carrying a knife. They wouldn't know the difference if it was soft or not, like Antimatter said. So but for the most part, though, now we have everything at our fingertips. So now people can actually watch videos on those knives. And so people are learning a lot more, even people that didn't know any better before, because there's so much knowledge out there now. And it's only going to get better. And that's why we have companies that have stepped up. Right, you've seen Spyderco. As soon as tests started being done, Spyderco fucking got a boot in their ass, and they said, "Oh well, we're gonna have to be superior in this area." So they came forward and started knocking heat treats out of the park. Same thing with a few other companies, right? TRM had like some stuff in the beginning that wasn't like the best, but they quickly got their shit in gear. Um, but yeah, a lot of knife people don't. They're not going to be able to tell the difference because they don't do controlled tests. It does take a controlled test to really know the difference. And if you're going to know from sharpening, it's going to take you a lot of sharpening to feel the difference in heat treatments. Like even me, man, I didn't understand it at all at first. Like I heard people that I followed that were sharpening talking about how good the heat treatment felt and all that stuff. I'm like, how the fuck can they feel that? I literally thought that like they're making this shit up. That's what I thought. I thought they were lying. And then after a long time of me being on the stone, I started noticing the differences. I started noticing the feeling, the way it deburred, even just the way it goes across stone, how it sounds, all of that stuff started playing a part. But you don't realize those patterns until you've done it so much. This powdered steel is incredibly tough, hard wearing and corrosion resistance, as well as being great at keeping an edge. Am I supposed to say what steel it is? This powdered steel is incredibly tough, hard wearing, and corrosion resistant, as well as being great at keeping an edge. That can be a lot of different steels. It can be a lot of different steels. Um, yeah, I mean that's a ton of steels. Many users report that after a month of hard outdoor use, a knife cost a nice what? A knife cast in M390 steel barely needs a stropping. I see. I don't know about that. So I would say you should have done a lot more stropping in between that. If you did months of hard outdoor use. So first off, wood is not hard on an edge. Let's be clear about that really quick. Wood, that's why like a lot of the like choppers and stuff like that, they don't need to be like a crazy steel because wood is not very effective at hurting an edge. Some wood is. There are some like crazy, super fucking hard wood that's almost like glass, right? But I'm talking about like pine and regular wood, you know, that you're going to be cutting with or chopping with or whatever. That stuff's not really hard wearing on an edge. But that being said, you should be stropping in between use. Like if you've used your knife all day, you should have stropped it, right? If you've used your knife this week, you should have stropped it. If you're out in the field, you should have a strop with you. But you know, I would say that you know M390 is not an outdoor steel. So while it holds a really good edge, it doesn't have the toughness that an outdoor knife needs. But yeah, it just depends on your use and what you're doing with it. You know, I've had some steels in M390 last way longer than I ever could have imagined. And then I've had some that go dull immediately. It just depends on the heat treatment, the company, what you're doing, the geometry. There's a lot of things playing a part. I saw your video about Civivi Elementums and I realized I missed out on that Knife Center exclusive button lock in 20 CV. I was lucky to find one on eBay and I won the auction yesterday. Thanks to you. Dude, you didn't have to do that though. If you seen my video, what was it, yesterday? Oh my God. I showed that you can get contoured titanium scales for it right now. I linked them in the video yesterday. So just go to yesterday. I think it's yesterday's the video with the Civivi. Go to that video, and in the description, I have linked contoured titanium scales for your button lock Elementum if you want it. So you can turn your button lock Elementum into a titanium knife. I would say do that before getting this. And I'm not talking to you now because you already got it. Awesome. Great purchase. This is a cool knife. I do like it quite a bit. But if you want to get titanium, just get the Flytanium scales. You can dress it up real nice like. Because you know what's the difference is though? This doesn't have a hollow grind. This one does. So this one's 20 CV with a flat grind. This is 14C with a hollow. I personally would rather have the 14C with a hollow personally. Let me catch up. Do you carry any fixed blades for EDC? Not often, but yeah, I do. I mean, not that I don't, I do. Like I carry a little self-defense knife sometimes that I use for an EDC, and then sometimes, like if me and Kara out on the trail, I'll carry a fixed blade of some sort. Just depends on what we're doing, but when I'm, just normal day to day, no. S90V is okay too. S90V is amazing. Shout out to Mike J's wife. Bowler M390 Micro Clean is a steel produced with powder metallurgy. What's up, Nil Knives? I'm pretty sure he does Pablo. I know his wife cared. What the fuck is Pablo? Pretty sure he does Pablo. Oh, you're talking to Pablo. I'm pretty sure he does Pablo. I know his wife, Kara, does. She has a parrot, I believe it was called. She loves. What the fuck are you talking about? Honestly, my folders are all so light use that I just buy any crucible steel for the aesthetics of the knife. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a knife because, right? So, like I did this video. Did I upload it? I don't remember. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But since the beginning of time, we have glorified knives and swords, right? Like, Having a knife, I mean a quality knife or a quality sword passed down to you, even hundreds of years ago, was a huge thing. It was an honorable thing. And there were times like where a father would pass down his knife to his son or his sword or whatever, and they treasured it, they honored it, because this meant that this was the difference between life and death in a lot of cases, right? Because the person that had a quality knife meant they probably had a better quality of life, right? So if you had a good quality knife made out of quality materials for that time, right? Because remember, we went through the Bronze Age, we've been through a lot of stages, right? So at the time in history, if you had a knife made out of the best materials, you were probably doing pretty well, right? Because a lot of people probably had absolute shit. And they, a lot of them probably died and didn't survive because they didn't have the superior tools. But anyways, the point is though, is that we have made knives out of the best possible materials we could possibly do in any given time in history. Now we're at a point to where we make knives out of the best materials on the planet, and we still glorify them, right? We still treasure them. We still see not only the use in them, but also the beauty. Even like watches, right? Since watches existed, even though this is completely different, because watches really we're not dependent on survival for watches, but let's say watches, right? Ever since watches existed, they started making high-end watches, out of premium materials with crazy mechanisms. They go for tons of money, right? Well, same thing with the knives. It's like we're making them out of the best materials and trying to get them to the highest level quality, and there's nothing wrong with having one that's really nice in a super steel, that even though you're not ever going to run that super steel, to its limits. It's kind of like having, even certain cars, right? Just because you have a badass car. Now, personally, me, I'd be ripping the wheels off of it, but that doesn't mean you have to. It's all down to purpose. You don't want a titanium frame lock with 1095, and you don't want a machete with S110V. Use steels and heat treats suited for the task. Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. No problem, no knives. Honestly, my folders are all. Oh, I already read that one. I already read that one. If you're sexy and you show it, flick your knife. uh, how big is a difference in one HRC? It depends on the steel, but it can be huge. It can be huge. So, like I said, between the MagnaCut I tested, and this was between 61 and 62 and 63 and 64. So you could say between 1 to 2 HRCs, right? It was about 100 feet, a little bit more than 100 feet of cardboard difference, because once you start, the higher you go, the bigger jump, right? So the difference between 59 and 60 is going to be less than the difference between 60 and 61. And then that's going to be less than the difference between 61 and 62. So the higher you go, the bigger the jump goes. I flicked my knife to make me feel better. I not hot and sexy face. What the fuck? I got it for $50. I ordered the Kunwu Django in carbon fiber with the black blade and bronze crossbar grips and pocket clip. Very cool. Endura in M4 and ZDP 189. Badass. Badass. Why is 440C the lower steel? Is it good for cutting fish and bread? 440C at the time, probably 20 plus years ago, that was the super steel, right? So 440C at one time, like I remember when I was a kid, I remember 440C being like the shit. And I even used to like talk about it when I was a kid, like 440C, like how awesome 440C was. And I remember even using steels, like going from like fucking no name stainless steels to like unnamed steel, like 440C, done by, Schrade or Benchmade or not Benchmade, Schrade or Buck or something like that. And it being like a steel that actually held an edge. And I remember dealing with other steels that literally I would use once or twice. And I didn't understand it because I was young, but I would get some knife, some crappy knife, and it'd be sharp, and I'd use it, and then it'd be dull. And I thought that was just the way steels were, but I didn't realize, no, that's the way that steel is, because it's absolute dog shit and it's not heat treated well. But 440C is just, it's obviously now a simple steel, and it's, you know, the bottom of the barrel, but it's still loved. I bought Maxace Pair 3, then found out that it has very low toughness. I really don't know what I'll ever use it for. Use it for cutting, right? So Maxace is for cutting. That's it. So cutting rope, plastic, paper, cardboard, straps, plastic, whatever. So it's not made for prying, right? Or impact. So as long as you're not hitting it on things and prying things, and you're only cutting things, that's amazing. Maxace holds an edge forever, but you have to use it as a cutting tool. That's what it's made for. It's made for high edge retention, superior edge retention. It doesn't need toughness. Why would it need toughness? It's not for that, right? It's not for prying, and it's not for chopping. It's for cutting. And as long as you're using it for that, shit. I mean, I don't know how that would be a bad thing. That'd be a good thing. I'm not a fan of Spyderco's aesthetics, but I bought a Poochie and engraved my dog's name on it in Japanese to match the maker's mark when she passed away last year. Sorry to hear that. Dogs are definitely special. I got to while I was taking my walk earlier, I got to pet me a bull mastiff. I haven't seen a bull mastiff in a little while. Oh man, I love me a bull mastiff. Hey Shepherd with the 5 bones. What do you make of the Fox Core and Core Tonto in N690 steel? Is it soft with that brand? Love the look of them. I've only had one Italian knife. So I don't think they're running their N690 soft, because I don't think N690 is ever brought to a high HRC. So I wouldn't be worried about that steel. I would just say that they charge quite a bit for it. That's the biggest thing. So that's what I would be worried about, is just paying a crazy price for it. But no, it's going to hold an edge as good as N690 probably does for the most part. But where Italian companies do bad is with super steels. They just don't run super steels at an optimal HRC. So but yeah, I wouldn't worry about N690 so much. I just wouldn't pay a lot for it. So really quick, I've got my knife journal. I have it linked down in the description. Somebody sent it to me that made it, and like I said, it's linked down in the description. It's actually pretty awesome. Check this out. So I haven't written in it yet because I wanted to show it to you guys first, but it has all these things for you where you can put in your sharpening stuff, your stones, your angles, the knife, the model. You can basically get all your knives in alphabetical order, or like all the testing you've done, all the knives in your collection. You can put in, so you can have them like all labeled, so you know exactly what you have and where they are and this and that. So it's pretty awesome. So it's very, very cool. Modifications. It basically is it's a knife guy's journal, and it's pretty damn cool. So shout out to the guy who send this to me. If you guys want to get yourself one, like I said, it's down in the description. I think it's pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna fill this son of a bitch up all the way. And I like how, like, the table of contents, you can have the list of knives and they're numbered. So with me, I have entirely way too many knives. So this will be all filled up for me. And I'm sure a lot of you too. But yeah, definitely check that out if you guys have a nice knife collection. It's a good one to have. Because before I was using just crap notebooks, and it always got fucked up. They always get messed up, just because of the pages and the way they are. Now I have a way to do it professionally. I use my Maxace Pair 3 for a ton of things. I just don't use it for batoning, and I stay away from hard surfaces. There you go. Thanks for your announcement on the Wii and Exusia this week. Really appreciate the heads up. Absolutely. Now, I will say, and I'm gonna probably continue talking about it because right now you have the opportunity to pre-order it. Just like most of the knives, Blade HQ will let you pre-order up until a certain point, then they take the pre-order away. So like a week before they drop, they take the pre-order away. And it almost makes you feel like they're sold out. And they're not. They just want to make sure that they have some when they drop because they're supposed to have some. Anyways, let me just pull it up because this thing is like a Bladeshow. So when I tried it at Bladeshow, and I was telling the Patreons earlier about this, I was telling the Patreons about this, and at Bladeshow, I got to test these knives, and the best. And I said it. You guys can watch the video. I said that this was the best knife that I had experienced at Bladeshow, and when by the time I left the Bladeshow, right after trying everything, this was still the knife that was on my mind, and it's this one right here, the Neferis. You can get it for $297 for the lowest one or the most affordable one. Like I said, they do have the pre-order. This thing absolutely is probably going to beat this knife. And I say that because at Bladeshow it did, right? Now I don't have them both in hand right now, right? But I imagine it's exactly the same. Now, the reason why, and if you watch my Bladeshow video, I talk about this flipper tab. If you look at this flipper tab, look at how high it is, right? Well, when you look at this flipper tab, you can see it's not that high. So the flipping action is superior on this, even though this is so good. But that is even better because of how much leverage you have. Then this whole deployment, the whole deployment is really good as well. So with this one, and I was telling the Patreons this earlier, you can't reverse flick this from the top. It's just too strong of a detent. You have to get down here and do it, which you can do it, but that one is just superior with the reverse flick. So though, because of those two things, now I do think that this is sexier. I think this is a damn good looking knife. I mean, they're both damn good looking knives. So let me be clear. I think this is a damn good looking knife as well. So, but I think this one might have the edge a little bit, right? It might have a little bit of an edge, but they're both. Look at that thing. That thing is damn good looking. Holy shit, that thing looks damn good. So I personally love the look of this thing, the Neferis. But both of them are damn good looking knives. But this one is a little bit better. So I'm just letting you guys know, heads up, because when it drops, I'm definitely gonna have one, and yeah, I'm gonna go crazy. But at the show, I went crazy. Like even Seth remembers. Like Seth remember. Like even like later on in the day when I seen him, or maybe it was Kyle was saying that. I don't remember, but one of them was saying like, "Oh, I remember you were liking this one last night." Because I went to the show early the night before and filmed with We. They were doing this live. I never even got to see it. I don't know where it aired, but much love, Nate. Thank you for the support, man. He's been a member for 11 months. Shout out to all the members, man. I do appreciate all the support. And we do have a members live sharpening tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, it was he brought it up as soon as I like got there the next day. He's like, "Yeah, I know you were talking about this one yesterday." I was like, "Yeah, this is the one right here." Because I tried all their knives, all the knives that they were coming out with, and that one was. And you guys like when you think about some of their knives, man, they have a lot of great shit, right? A lot of great shit. Like this is an example. Like this thing was hard to beat for any company, right? So if they have a knife that's even gonna beat that, it's crazy. For me, given a choice, MagnaCut or VanX, super clean, I'll take VanX. I'll take VanX too, for sure. Now, like if it was the choice between shit VanX and good M390 or good MagnaCut, I mean, I'm gonna take the MagnaCut. But you know what? Actually, I'm gonna take that back. If both of them are superior, like if both of them are perfect heat treatment, I'll probably take the MagnaCut for the toughness. MagnaCut has like as far as sharpening goes, good MagnaCut, like really good MagnaCut, takes an incredible edge, an incredibly sharp edge. But you know, it has to be heat treated well. LP Knife Works is a member. Shout out to LP. Appreciate the support. Don't miss the live tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. Jared, not just a strap, but a strap with gunny juice, right? You got it. Strap with gunny juice. That's what you need. I ordered the Precision Knife Works Warntech with the full hollow grind. Jared, how was the 20 CV? So I never did like a controlled test on it, so I can't speak to how well the 20 CV is, but it's QSP, right? I believe that's who it is. QSP did it, so it's QSP's 20 CV, which I've tested some of their 20 CV. You know, it's probably, I'd say 59 to 60 HRC. So it's not nothing like super special, but it's also not dog shit, right? Um, I would say if it got any softer, it'd be dog shit. But I mean, it was fine, you know, about typical with what we see from most of the companies, uh, or at least right there with it. I've said it for years. Sharpeners are the ones that told the tell of who was doing good steel and who wasn't. That's before the testing and hardness testing started a whole back sharpeners. That's true. That's absolutely true. And at the time, you know, like when I was really just getting into the community, I remember hearing it, and I remember watching them be right. Right. I remember watching them, like sharpeners, talk about like, I bet you this one's good and this one's like soft, right? And that's when they were saying like how it sounded, it felt, all these details of the deburring and everything. And I remember thinking, how the fuck do they know? Like, but then when the tests came out, they were right. And it was like, it was mind-boggling to me, like, how did they even know? But now I understand because I do so much sharpening. But at the time, I was just learning sharpening. It takes, you know, a lot of time on that stone. J Unit, Jim, congratulations, brother. Thank you for the 5 crackers. I won the new VOSTEED Patreon giveaway today. Yes, you did. I'm so happy, like a dog with 2 dicks. So excited. Keep up the good work, and thank you so much. Absolutely. Yeah, I got it out there, but otherwise I'd show it to you. But yes, you won the VOSTEED, aka Mayhem. I don't know what I forget what they call it now. I forget, but it was called the Mayhem. He won the brand new one with the sheep's foot. Awesome, awesome knife to win. What did we give away? We gave away probably over $1,000 in knives today. So if you're a Patreon, definitely go and watch that to make sure you didn't win. M4 does well polished, but really, really does well at 600 to 1,000. Portable clocks and watches, first necessity to figure out direction and longitude. All guessing before a reliable clock. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wasn't trying to say like that, the clocks didn't help us in any way. I wasn't saying that. I just was trying to give like the similarities in like having a premium watch, you know, how like it was a special thing, you know. Scott, shout out to Scott N. He's been a member for 5 months. Hello to you, brother. Thank you for the love and support, man. I do appreciate it. Anyone knew when Blade HQ is dropping the PM2 Tanto again? I didn't. Are they doing it again? 2 questions for you. Best titanium knife under $200. And second, I just bought a Manix 2. Would you recommend upgrading the scales and the ball cage? I would recommend the cage. You don't have to do the scales, but if you're going to do the scales, do the original GOAT scales and save yourself 15% off by using my discount code down in the description. The aluminum scales are what I put on mine. I have titanium ones on my other one. It doesn't matter if you have titanium or aluminum, but the original GOAT ones are really, really good. I have found that the original GOAT scales on most of the knives that I put their scales on are superior to most companies. Like, just for an example, Flytanium. I went through like, I don't even know how many sets of their scales, and I've had shit. Like absolute dog shit. And it pisses you off because you put it all together and then like it's got play or something like that, and you don't want to return it, you don't want to take it all back apart. Like, it's just a bunch of bullshit. I've never had that with original GOAT. Now I know there was a couple people, like when they first started, they had some issues. They let them keep the scales and then sent them new ones. So they were really on top of making sure to keep the customers happy. Everything I've put on, even I've even had the scales be superior to the factory. Like this one. When I got this knife, it had play, a lot of it, and it was so bad. I was so upset. Like, man, I'm gonna have to return this thing. I had the scales coming, so I was like, let me just try the scales. And I literally there was nothing in me that thought that it was gonna go away. But then when I put them on, this thing is a fucking vault now. So go with original goat. But as far as the best titanium knife under $200, Maxace Black Mirror, that one's $142. We Knife Co. right now at Blade HQ, you can go on their sales. They have a the We Sakshi. Let me just grab it really quick. Yeah, the We Sakshi, and then a few other ones that are really good that they have for sale. I'm looking at them right now. Give me 1 second. Let me just look at them with you guys. So I would say like here, $150. I wouldn't get that one, but here's Mike Emler's knife for 140 bones. Let me find it. I was just talking about these the other day, so I know they have some. 225 for the Kulix. Kulix is a good one. 225 for the Subjugator. That's cool, but I know you want under 200, under 200. You got the We Elementum. I got that one right here. That's a really good one. Here's the Sakshi. This is a good one. Titanium liner lock. It's not titanium frame lock, but it's titanium liners. 229 for the Roxy 3. That's really good. You got right here. Here's a titanium frame lock. This is a really good deal. And these are great deals because these knives were all over $200 when they first came out. 209, the Upshot. This is a good one. If you can handle doing another $9, this is a phenomenal knife right here. Really, really good. So yeah, there's some options right there. There's a lot of great options between the $150 and $200 mark. I'm actually about to do a video on best $200 knives and best $150 knives. Record actual costs of knives you told wife were cheap in case she has to dump them on knife sale. That's hilarious. Even my Ziphius makes that auditory marble clacking sound when it locks up. Why did We Knife have to make my ears so damn happy? I didn't even know I needed knives to give me auditory bliss. Yeah, bro, I know what you mean. Like even me, like it's the little sounds get me. Like even like we were talking about the We Elementum just a second ago. This is a plain knife, right? There's nothing like super special about this knife, right? It's just a flipper knife. It's a titanium frame lock Civivi Elementum in 20 CV, right? But the lockup of this thing, and I can feel the strength of that lock bar. It feels so solid, and when I slow roll it into place, I can really hear that damn lock engage, and I freaking love it. Like you can see it. Like it just yanks it right in. Something about that just, man, I love it. And it tells you how secure that lockup is. And this thing is vault-like. Even in the most slowest slow roll, it's locked up rock solid. Gotta love that. And those little sounds, yeah. What's up new here? What's your opinion on the Benchmade bug out 535 for aluminum scaled bug out? I think it's overpriced. I think Benchmade is about to be out of their damn mind, if not already. There's some knives that, listen, I love Benchmade. So I just want to be clear. I love Benchmade. I love what Benchmade does. I love that they're USA made. I love their warranty. I think they do a lot of great work. I do think they run some of their steel soft, but they do a lot of great work. But in the knife market today, you can get, and just for an example, right? You can get TRM, which is a small batch company, a small batch. So they're a small company. Benchmade is a massive company. You can get knives more affordable from TRM than from Benchmade. That's crazy. And TRM will have a superior heat treat. You can even look at Spyderco's. Spyderco's are going to have a superior heat treat to Benchmade, and they're more affordable. So I just think that their prices are a little bit too much. I personally can't even recommend the bug out right now. I would just recommend getting a Deca. Get a Hogue Deca and MagnaCut steel. They're doing a good job with their MagnaCut, and you can always get aluminum scales or titanium scales from Original Goat. And those are 100% USA made, by the way. Anything from Original Goat is 100% USA made, guys. Because I know some people hate the thought of getting new scales on a USA made knife and getting Chinese scales. You don't have to. Get Original Goat. It's 100% USA made. I have a Curtis F3 warning in MagnaCut that takes a great edge. So I dealt with one of those and it was soft. I don't know about yours, like you know, and the one I tried it was a while back, so it could have been when they were first doing them. I don't know, but the one I did deal with was soft. I'm not buying knives more than 50 on AliExpress anymore. Kizer's giving me a runaround about the severe detent lash my boo guy have. Amazon is no question asked, just not as many sales. Where'd you get the knife at from? Because Kizer, I mean, you can buy from Kizer's store, but why wouldn't you get it from like Blade HQ or Amazon or, you know, one of the dealers? Then you just return it to them and they'll give you your money back. So that's what I would do. Wherever you bought it from, just return it. Even if it's from Kizer, just return it. You can return whatever you get, but AliExpress, you can't. Fuck Ali. I wouldn't deal with AliExpress. First of all, I know a bunch of people who they stole their information. They got their credit cards stolen and other information. So that's one reason why I wouldn't mess with AliExpress. The next reason is that they sell a lot of knockoffs and clones, like that they're labeled as the real thing and they're not. That's one thing. Then they also have a lot of clones that say they're clones. They deal with a lot of knives that are most likely are not the right steel, like they're lying. So I just don't like, I can't in my right mind support a company that has no problem lying and cheating you. You know, and it's not even just them. They allow liars and cheaters to sell on their site. That's the problem. Now I know Amazon kind of does the same thing. Amazon's different, right? That's a site that sells everything. And I know AliExpress does too to some extent, but one's an American company, the other one's, you know, a Chinese company that don't give a fuck about you. And like I said, they steal your information and I know people always say, well, I've bought 100 things from them and I didn't have my information stolen. How would you know? Like, unless it was your credit card that got stolen, then I guess you'd know. But otherwise, how would you know? Bluetooth blades. Remember, for like, I had one person told me like his computer wound up fucking getting hacked like afterwards after fucking with them. But anyways, I just don't mess with them. Been a member for 7 months. Bluetooth. Thank you for the support, man. Edge for XM18 3.5 Spear Point and S45. What would I put on it? I would. So with S45, well, so let's talk about S35 first. Okay, so S35, you don't want to go over 1200 grit with S35. Can you? Yes, it will take a polished edge. It just won't hold it, right? So in some cases, S35 won't even take a polished edge. So it is on that balancing act where sometimes it takes it, sometimes it doesn't, but either way, it doesn't hold it. So you want to stick with a medium to fine grit edge with S35 between like 600 and 1200. S45, you can take S45 up to a polish and it will hold it better than S35 VN. However, I don't think it holds it better than it would at 1200 grit or 1000 grit. I think 1200, I think between 800 and 1200 grit is where it's probably going to hold its best edge. Now, like I said, if you want a polished edge, you can absolutely do it. It will take it, it will hold it. You'll probably be happy as you can be with it. But if you did a comparison edge retention test, or sorry, a comparison test neck to neck, you know, or side by side, where you were testing the slickness and how well the edge does long term, not how well it cuts paper, but how well it holds the bite that you want. Because the bite is, if I was going to cut something, right? So the bite is, if it's slippery, right? If it has no teeth, what'll happen is you'll go to cut and it'll slip out. You'll slip off of things. Like everybody's dealt with that, right? Like they go to cut something and it just slips right off. It's because your edge doesn't have bite, and also geometry plays a part in that too. But when your edge has bite, it's like a saw blade. So as soon as it touches, the teeth are already they're aiming towards the thing you're cutting. So because they're all facing this way, just like a saw blade. If it's done by a belt, it's facing up and down. But anyways, the point is that it's saw teeth and it bites into the material. So now it continues to bite, and now geometry can take over and make the cut. Anyways, so I personally would go between 600 and probably 1200 grit with it. Unless if you really want a polished edge. If you really want a polished edge, it'll take and hold it for at least a decent amount of time. That's always been the okay. It's always her business and part of the use. Let me scroll down. I'm way backed up, guys. I'm sorry. Let me catch up. Ricard, been a member for 4 months. Thank you for the support. Says, I don't know if I have told you yet, but I bought a TS Prof KO3. Hell yeah, good for you. And I love it. But it is missing the single clamp. Well, like I was saying, you want to buy, even with the Cadet Pro, you want to buy the other clamps. Like, you don't need them, right? When you buy the system, you don't need them right away, but plan on buying the other clamps. That will make that system able to do whatever, right? So every system is like that, though, right? So, you know, there's just some, every system's going to have its limitations, right? And that system is really, really good. So you got a great system. Now just get that other clamp, you'll be all good. Um, John B says, "What's up, man? I bought the Serge Panchico Rage in N690. Do you think it will do well with a mirror polish edge at 17 degrees, or should I go toothier?" So I have, I think that's the one I have coming in titanium. If I'm correct about the name. N690. So I would say don't go with a polished edge. So I've had some N690 that did do okay with a polished edge. I've also had a lot of it get slick. So I would say to be safe, I personally stick around, between 6 and 800 grit on N690. Like I said, I've had some that did really well with a polished edge, but I've also had a lot that just didn't. So it's kind of weird with N690 to say. I haven't done like a controlled test neck to neck, like side by side. But from my experience, I would say on a balance of probabilities, you'll probably want a medium grit edge. Could you put a polished edge on there and be happy? Yeah, especially at a low angle. If you want to go with a mirror polish, I'll say this. If you want to go with a mirror polish edge, go with the lowest angle you can handle, which is 15 to 17 degrees per side. The lower the angle, the better the polish is going to come out, because the teeth are very fine already. So since they are so fine, you don't want them to be obtuse, because they're little tiny teeth. So now if you have them obtuse, it's little tiny teeth at the tip of a thick angle. But when it's a slim angle, now it's little tiny teeth, but it's super thin. So it just, the sharpness goes off the charts when you do that. If it's obtuse, that's when it'll get slick really quick. So if you ever polished an edge and the steel won't take a good polished edge, it's most likely your angle. Your angle is a huge factor when doing mirror polishes. You should never do a mirror polished edge at a high angle. It just doesn't make sense, because it's an obtuse angle with little tiny teeth. That just doesn't make sense, right? Think about even like a saw blade, right? Like super thick saw blade with little tiny teeth. No, you're going to want a thin blade with little tiny teeth. Have you tested CPM D2? Yes. If so, what edge do you prefer on that? Medium to low. So I would go, I don't mind 300 grit on CPM D2, but I don't ever go over 600. A lot of people go up to 800 grit, but I personally don't ever go over 600 grit with CPM D2. D2 anyways, I don't go over 600 grit. I personally like a 400 grit edge on it. Now 600 grits, if it's regular D2, I would say 600. If it's CPM D2, go a little bit lower, because it's in powdered form. So the grain structure in the steel is going to be a little bit finer. So it seems that a lot of powdered steel seem to take a finer edge than the blade steel would take if it wasn't. So meaning like if you put a 600 grit edge on regular D2 and CPM D2, CPM D2 is going to feel finer. The edge is going to feel finer than it would if it was regular D2. So a 400 grit will feel like a 600 grit. That's what I'm trying to say. Dave Goodrich, thank you for the 5 bones. Me and Otis stopped by to say hi. What's up, Otis? What a good boy. Jared, have you seen the new Flytanium arcade yet? Plan on getting one? Dude, I bought one twice and I don't know what happened. So I bought one. Blade HQ came back and said that that my card didn't go through. I said, okay, well, I had switched cards like a couple months ago. So I was like, okay, maybe my old card was in the system. Switched cards. Then they came back and said that, and I know I put in the right card. And then they came back and said that didn't go through. So I contacted them, I emailed them, like, that doesn't make any sense, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the order never got pushed through. Well, I wound up buying something else, and that order went through just fine. So I don't know. I almost felt like it was bad luck. And so I kind of gave up. I really want to get it, but I'm almost wondering if it's too late now. Because everybody's already got it and has seen it and this and that. But I almost bought it earlier today again because I do want to get it on the channel. I just hate to get it and everybody, kind of already have bought it and, already know if they like it or not, So because I like to be ahead of the ball, I like to give people an opinion before they make their purchase, because otherwise you'll get people that make the purchase and they're already pissed off, and they just want to hear you bitch too. Jim, thank you for another 2 crackers. Thanks again for the giveaway win. I'm off as it's 3 a.m. Good night, Jim. Hit the sack. I completely get it. The caps lock. What do you mean? You're talking? This is a live, though, man. This is a live. Lives don't count. You know what? Here, I'm gonna make you feel better. Let's just do it right now. All right. There you go. We just switched it. Just for Dino. We switched it for him, man. He did leave me a comment on a video where I did not leave all caps. And if people don't know, Dino always leaves me a comment bitching about my caps lock on in any video where I make the title caps lock on. So I told him, I said, you never leave me a comment unless if I do it. So I have to leave, all my titles caps lock on because you never give me a damn comment otherwise, right? And he finally gave me a comment. So I'm gonna put it down to lowercase. Can you tell a difference in Quiet Carry's 20 CV and Wee's 20 CV? I can tell a little difference, like not like nothing crazy. I mean, it's difficult to. So I have, what do I have? I think I only have 2 knives in their 20 CV, or no, 1. I've had a bunch of it, lots of it in for sharpening and stuff, but personally, I only own 1, I think, in the 20 CV. So that's the only one I've really gotten to test aside from sharpening from other people's stuff. But from my experience, I do think it's a little bit better. I'm not gonna say it's a lot better, but it feels a little bit better. But I want to be clear though, We Knife Co., even though they are running it a little bit soft, from my experience with their 20 CV from like the past year, like it's been good. Like it's not bad at all. Like I know I bitch about them needing to up their HRC, but it's been good. Like I have not been upset. It takes a really good edge, even like polished edges. They take really good polished edges, which is, like I was saying earlier, bad M390 and 20 CV does not. So I've been pretty happy with their 20 CV. Of course, I would want them to up it a little bit more, but they're in a range where, it's hard to sit there and bitch at them because their prices and stuff. Who's the richest person in the knife industry? How many millionaires overall? I have no idea. What do you mean, knife companies wise, or you talking about just people? Question from Canada. If we enter giveaways, will you do split blade handle shipments if requested? No, I will just lock them. So what I've done with my other friends in Canada is I just tighten the pivot all the way down. So the only way to open it is manually. You can't flip it open. It just, you have to manually open it. That seems to work. But Two Bones Jones. Two Bones for Dino. Caps lock is your friend. Okay. Hey Chris, I got something to ask you about this fragrance, man. It says diesel bad, but it's actually bad diesel, right? That's supposed to be bad diesel. Am I correct? I want to be positive because I've been reading up on it. We're going to talk about it here in a second. This stuff's actually really, really fucking good. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about one other one. I put a nice polished edge on my Wii Esprit recently. It's sticky. Yeah, I did too. Yeah, like I said, their 20 CV seems to take and hold the polish edge, at least most of it. Like, I'm not gonna say every single one because you're gonna have some fluctuation. But for the most part, it's held, taken and held a good polished edge for the most part across the board. I've been happy with their 20 CV. Now I know there are some cut tests out there where it didn't do like the best. Some of that is older stuff, right? And some of it is, there's a couple stuff that's like 2 years old or something like that, maybe 2.5, 3 years old. I do think in the past like year they've their stuff's gotten pretty decent. Maybe it's just they've just refined their ability to do it because over time, obviously when you're heat treating the same steel so much, you're gonna get better and better at it, right? So maybe they've gotten a little bit better at it, maybe not. I don't know, but it seems like it's pretty decent. And as far as edge retention goes, I've been pretty happy with it. Like I said, I'm not going to say it's superior to Riats, but it's pretty decent. Do you ever carry the 8015 anymore? I pulled it out. Are you ever flinging it closed by just holding on the scorpion lock and use? I don't carry it that often, but I do carry it sometimes. Mine is not like it won't just fall. I have to give mine a little bit of a oomph, and then it shuts, but it's pretty easy. I can swing it open too, and then I can push it like that. But I mean, mine's very smooth, but this lock is designed, to be the way it is. It's not on bearings, so it is on washers. But yeah, I think it's awesome. This one's a custom though, so this isn't the cold steel one. This is the custom, the Demco with the titanium. This one's titanium, which is so awesome. I mean, this thing is still it's still rock solid lockup, man. This thing is badass. Yeah, I would love to get the cold steel one and put the titanium scales on it because they actually have titanium scales for this part too. Kind of like my cold steel 8010 full titanium. This thing is a beast now. Look at that titanium. This thing is such a beast now. Oh, I love it. Listen to that. Listen to that thwack. Let's do it again. Are your ears ringing? Mine are. I love it. Oh, this thing is so badass now. What a damn beast, man. That is a badass knife. All right. Bluetooth. Oh, Reenie's been a member for 3 months. A shout out to Reenie. Thank you for the support. Thoughts on Pena? I just got his Bravo and FRAG tie. Pena's dope. It's done by Riet, and they actually have a whole bunch of them on sale right now. At Blade HQ that people can get for a damn discount. So if you guys look here, let me I'll pull it up here in 1 second. Sorry, Bluetooth, give me 1 second. You can see they have a bunch of badass sales. You can get it for $200, under $200, $179 for this one for the Raptor. They're dope. I've always liked them. They are incredible front flippers. They are some of the best front flippers. They're really, really good, and they're done by Riet, so they're done well. Yeah, I think they're awesome. We have one in the collection. We have the mini one. I've almost bought some of the big ones a couple times. Bluetooth with the 5 bones. What angle? Did I already say that one? What angle for the did I not say it? Oh, what angle? What angle? I said the edge. I'm sorry. I personally I go 15. So, but I like low angle edges on my, and the reason why, let me explain. So, the geometry of Hinderers are thick, right? They're thicker. So since they're so thick, I don't want an obtuse angle on it because then it's not going to cut good. It has enough or it has enough stability because of how thick it is to handle a low angle edge. The 15 degrees per side, it's going to be a big bevel. So plan on plan on having a big edge bevel. I'll show you one if I have it right here. Let me see. Oh, I don't have. Okay, I'll have to show you on this one. So this isn't on a hinder, but it's going to look like this. This is what the edge bevel will look like. It'll be like this big. See how big the bevel is? I personally love the look of a big bevel, but some people don't. So to each their own. I love a nice big edge bevel, but that's what I would go. I'd go 15. Now, if you don't want to go 15 and you're scared to go 15, or you don't want to spend the time it's going to take to put a 15-degree edge bevel on it, go 17. I wouldn't go over 17 though, personally for me. Unless if you're actually planning on fucking hard using that knife to its limits, then 20 degrees. But if you're just planning on using it as a cutting tool, like 99.9% of everybody, go 17 degrees. And if you're really wanting it to be a high level of sharpness and a high level of cutting performance, go with 15. Alicor, been a member for 12 months. Opinions on the Artisan Bow full dress mirror. I like it. I got one. I got it right here. I think it's awesome. I do think that the price after it drops is overpriced, but as far as the price you can get it for, woo, look at that thing. Woo, look at that baby. And this one is the mirror too. But let me just use their rag. That's what I should use, is its own rag to make sure there's nothing on it. Look at that. Want to see my camera? Look at you guys. Look at you guys' camera. Yeah, this thing's beautiful. It's gorgeous, but it's expensive, right? It's expensive. It's a full dress. Even the lock bar is Damascus. So, of course, the backs, everything, the whole thing, like I said, it's a full dress. So, yes, it's expensive, but, and it's polished S90V, by the way. That blade steel is S90V polished. So, the price that it goes for the early bird, which only lasts for like the next 24 hours, is I think is okay. But as far as when it drops $1,000, I think it's way overpriced. Way overpriced. But you save like 50% off or some shit if you join the pre-order. Or sorry, the Kickstarter within 24 more hours. Derek with the 5 bones. Thank you, brother. Gunslinger and EXOM Zerkatai on NAFs. Cough. Anyone got a Thai Iridium for sale? If anybody does, let them know. So there's a Gunslinger and an EXO and Zerkatai on NAF sale. Huh. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Very cool. What is the knife in the? It's the 8015. It's not this one. I just took the picture. It's not my picture. I got it off the internet. I had just saved in my stuff and I was just looking for a thumbnail. For some reason I'm having issues putting thumbnails up on my lives. So I had picked something that fit. For some reason, like my pictures aren't fitting. So I gotta figure it out. I had a bunch of trouble today, man. I didn't even get to post a video today. My internet or my shit got filled up to where I couldn't upload anymore. So had to figure that out and delete a bunch of stuff, and in the process deleted the video that I actually wanted to upload. And I literally spent like 2 hours, 2 and 3 hours editing it. So literally my whole day of work, not saying 3 hours is the whole day, but I had the filming part, then the editing part, you know, and all the shit. And I even uploaded it and it didn't upload. So all that time, right, is fucking out the window. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to do it again tomorrow because I had to start from square one. I have to go all the way back to well, not square one. Square one would be recording. I still have my recordings, but I don't have my edited version of the video, which I put a bunch of shit in the video. So anyway, Sneeze Eyes, do you have a Maxace Black Mirror? Yes. And would you talk about the brand / knife and heat treat? Soft. So the brand is Maxace, and yes, I do have the Maxace Black Mirror. They're running their M390 pretty soft, but they're also not pricing it so crazy. It is a titanium frame lock. It's going to hold a decent edge. It'll probably hold an edge similar to S35VN, but it's not going to be an M390 that is like outstanding. All right. But you know, it's not priced that way either. It's $142 for a full titanium frame lock that's done very, very well, by the way. So, you know, considering all that, the M390, it's like buying a knife in S35VN. So just imagine yourself buying a knife in S35VN, you'll be just fine. It'll still take and hold an edge. It's just not going to hold it as long as 20 CV should. Doing a full mirror polish blade on S90V would be an absolute time-consuming moment. I know, I know. You know, Knife Modders has talked about that. Yeah, talk about a nightmare. I deleted video. Don't want to do a hunter buy. I bought the 8010 light today after you posted that short. Hell yeah! I wish I was able to put a link on that short. They won't let us use links anymore. So anybody who watches my shorts, if you don't see a link to the things I show in the shorts, just look for the full length video. I will tag the full length, or I'll try to tag a full length video in the short, so you can just click on that and then go buy it. But yeah, in that one I wasn't able to link anything or tag anything, and they won't let me do links at all anymore, which is shitty. But yeah, dude, good for you, man. What an awesome buy. These things are absolute beasts. And if you want to, I don't think there's any available right now, but in the future, if you want to, you can get yourself a set of aluminum or full titanium scales from Original Goat, and then it'll be half USA made, half Taiwan made, and it will be I mean, it's already a beast. The knife you're gonna get is absolutely a beast. You don't need to do a damn thing to it. It's as solid as a knife can be. But you know, if you wanted to make it even more crazy, you could. Man, yeah, these things a damn vault. A little too tight. John Blackman says, with the 2 bones, thank you for the 2 bones. Jared, what cold steel would you recommend? It depends. If you're wanting something for EDC, if you don't mind aluminum scales and slightly slippery scales, go with the Code 4. I love the Code 4 spear point blade with the Code 4 is amazing. That's probably what I would go with if I was you. But if you're wanting something hard use, that has a triad lock, so that's still hard use. But if you want something that's no bullshit hard use, go with the 8010. But this thing's a beast, right? This thing's a beast. You know, it's a chunky boy. So, but other than that, Cold Steel's got a lot of great stuff. You know, they got the American Lawman, the 4 Max Scout, if you really, really want to go crazy. But yeah, I think the American Lawman and probably the Code 4 is the best EDC knife from them. My Microtech was 400 bones. I think the price is dead on for such quality. Which Microtech? Which one was it? Can you put one video link right next to your channel? What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about in the shorts? So in the shorts, what they have now is there's a thing. Let's see if I can show you. Can I show it to you? I might be able to show you. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it for anybody who has. Okay, this. Oh no, let me show you for that one. This one. Okay, so I'll just show you guys. I don't think you guys have ever seen my YouTube studio, but here is a picture of this. So if you look at this, this is where the short is. You see I didn't put a description here. Normally I'd put like links and stuff in there, but can't do that. So I just have the name, and then you scroll down right here. It says related video. So you can hit this, and then you can choose a video from your catalog to put in there so that they have the video that's related to the short so that you can send people to a full length video. But you can't link it though. You can't link it, and you can't put links for products in there. The Kershaw Livewire, yeah, it's a damn good OTF. I got another OTF, the Tecto one that's coming out. That's badass too. But yeah, the Livewire's dope. I think some of their launch series knives are real dope. The Launch 15, the Launch 1. But yeah, the Livewire's dope as shit. It's a really good OTF. It's right there with Microtech for sure. Like I've tried tons of Microtechs, and it's right there with it. Really want a dual ground Primo knife and looking between the Truffles and the Tuya NV2. Which would you recommend? So honestly, I'd probably go with the Tuya NV2. I love the NV2. I have one. Is it the NV2 or the NV3? Because the NV2, they don't even have that anymore. You mean the NV3? You must mean the NV3. Yeah, because they're out of stock for the NV2. You must mean the Warncliffe version. You must be talking about this version. But it's not a dual ground blade anymore. So the new one's a Warncliffe. I have the two, but it's and it is a dual ground. I would say otherwise get this. Get the Nexuzia. This has a dual grind. Or you know what? Tuya also has I don't know if they ever dropped on. Yeah, here it is. The Wraith. Here you go. Damn, it did drop. Man, I need to put these in my links for this. So hang on one second. So yeah, get the Wraith. The Wraith is the shit. I got one over here. I should grab it really quick and show you. But yeah, the Tuya Wraith. Bang. And it's for $250. Good price. So that's an awesome knife. The link's down in the description. Blade HQ. Just go to Blade HQ and type in Tuya, Tuya, and then scroll down. You'll see it. The last Microtech I had misfired like crazy. I never told this story. And I'm not like holding it against anybody or anything. I do have the knife still, but I got that knife. Zach from Zach in the Wild did that deal with Axial Gear, and he sent me one, and it's never worked. It's misfired every time. It won't open or close. When I lock it in place and I go to close it, it'll misfire closing. Yeah, so I'm thinking about sending it back to Axial. I talked to Zach, and he obviously doesn't make them, so there's really no reason to send it back to him. So probably send it back. I just haven't. I don't really have contact with Axial Gear. I've talked to them a couple times, and so I just need better contact with them. So looks like a plunket knife. What the hell is a plunket? Any experience with the Wizanda? What the hell is the Wizanda? Do I know that one? No, I don't. I don't have any experience with this one. But I do have experience with a lot of other Wii knives, though, just not that one. It's one of the two dedicated box cutters. So, really quick. Oh, I have a Chavez Kickstop 229 drop point new in box for sale. Only took it out for pics in video. That's another one with a dual ground that's really dope. There you go. Fragrance really quick. So I wanted to wear a super masculine fragrance today because it's not super hot today. Today it was about 72 degrees. Earlier in the day, I was wearing something else. We'll talk about that. But later on in the day, I took a shower. You know, it's a little bit cooler out now. So I wanted to wear something super masculine, something that's not like for like super hot weather. And I chose Replica Jazz Club. This is an absolute masterpiece. You can see how low I'm getting in my bottle. I'm going to buy a big bottle. I got to, because this stuff is just too damn good not to. I freaking love it. And if you don't know, I've talked about it before. Replica takes memories and puts them in a bottle. So what it does is it takes somebody's memory of a time, place, or thing and tries to capture that scent and put it in a bottle. In this case, it is a jazz club from a Brooklyn jazz club. I think it's supposed to be from like the 1980s or 1970s jazz club. It says Brooklyn 2013, so maybe Province Imperial. Sorry, Brooklyn 2013 Jazz Club. So that's where it's supposed to be. And it smells like, the fragrance description is heady cocktails and cigars. And that's what it smells like. But it is damn good, man. It's woody. You can smell the booziness in a good way, not meaning like it smells like you just drank a bunch of booze, but like the actual notes from like a booze. And then it's got that cigar in there that really fucking makes it super masculine. It is so damn good. When I first tried it, though, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I could wear that. That's the way I was. But it's a fragrance that you keep getting whiffs of and you keep looking for it. And, you know, when it's on you, you can't stop smelling it. So what happens is it's almost like an acquired taste. You know, it's kind of like a food that when you tried it for the first time, you're like, but then now you are like crazy over it. It's the way this is. And damn it, is it good. It is so, so, so good. This is one of my favorite fragrances right now. As far as like winter, cold weather, nighttime, masculine cigar fragrances. I really like tobacco in a lot of fragrances. Now, earlier today, I was wearing Diesel Bad. This is a sweeter fragrance. So it's a super fresh, sweet fragrance. I'll actually show you the note breakdown. It has tobacco in it. So you see it's aromatic, woody, lavender, warm, spicy, citrus, fresh, spicy, amber, savory, animalic, and tobacco. So it actually has caviar in it. So it's got lavender, bergamot, cardamom, violet leaf. Middle notes are caviar, orris root, sage. Base notes are woody, tobacco, ambroxan, tonka bean, and patchouli. So what it actually smells like is it's sweet and fresh right off the top. Like it's got a sweetness and a little bit of lavender, a lot of lavender and sweetness. Let me just put it over here really quick. So it's really sweet right off the top, very citrusy. You get a citrus bomb right off the top with some lavender, tons of lavender. So very fresh. Now the thing is in the bottom of it though, it's got that tobacco, but it takes a minute. After a minute, the tobacco starts coming out and then it changes, it morphs. Now it still holds on to a little bit of the lavender as it carries out, but the tobacco like starts coming through over time, but it does take a little while. Some people say they can smell it right off the top. So far, I'm not, but I've only worn it today, so maybe that's why. Maybe I can smell it a little bit, but maybe it's because of this one. But anyways, I freaking like this stuff a lot. Diesel Bad. I did I link it down in the description? I think I did. I will link the replica for you guys though really quick because that I definitely recommend this stuff. This stuff is really, really good. I do have it linked down in the description. But like I said, this was my first time checking out. Actually, Two Bones Jones is the one who sent it to me. So I'm gonna put the Jazz Club down there. Damn, yeah, that stuff's expensive, man. Jazz Club. Oh, but it's so damn good. It's so good. So if I was gonna recommend one of the two, I would obviously recommend the Jazz Club. But if it's for a summer fragrance, it's got to be this because this isn't really a summer fragrance, even though I tend to wear it. in the summer, but I wouldn't recommend wearing it in the summer. I'm just crazy. Where am I at? Let me put this in here. Anyways, both of them are really good. Both of them are definitely going to get you compliments. I'll say this: the diesel bad will probably get you more compliments from like the ladies. Um, unless if it's a lady that's like yours. And let me make that make sense. So if you're like trying to pick up a girl, this will probably pick up a girl a little bit better. But if you can be around a girl, right, where she's with you, this one you'll start picking up the note. You'll keep picking it up, and it just makes you want to get closer and closer and closer and closer. So it's that type of fragrance that they will begin to love and cherish it. That fragrance, and they'll begin to really freaking love it. But the first like the first spark of it. But I don't know, man, because I've heard a lot of girls review this and they all love it. I just, just smelling it myself, I'm not sure how some girls, especially younger girls, I guess if they're above 30, they'll probably really love it. If they're under 30, this is probably the one they'll probably love the most. Um, Joe uses the one with the tobacco smell so we can hide that he's smoking again. um, this is a good tobacco one. This is a fantastic tobacco one. I've got a bunch of tobacco fragrances. I love tobacco fragrances though. I probably got like 10 of them. My favorites are this one, the Mancera Red Tobacco, and those two are neck and neck as far as which one I like the most. I love them both. And then after that, I do like the one Dolce & Gabbana, the one. That's a really good. That's like the where when you're stepping your toes into a tobacco fragrance, that's the one you should get. It's heavy on the tobacco, but I'm not sure if that would be my third place though. It might be. I have a couple other ones. Um, I don't know. Anyways, need pumpkin spice fragrances that time of the year. Well, I think that like I said, I think this is a great fragrance for that time of the year. The Replica Jazz Club, it has a warmness to it that's really good. But if you're wanting something like what you were just saying, like something pumpkin spice, check out Azaro Wanted by Night or Spice Bomb Extreme. Both of those have that spiciness to it. I like Azaro the best. I'll show you really quick. Azaro Wanted by Night. It is really, really good. It is a tobacco fragrance as well, but it's also got some sweetness to it. So let me just show you. You can see the breakdown right now. So it definitely has spiciness to it. So understand that. It's not like cinnamon spice. Um, Spice Bomb probably has a little bit of that, but it's almost like that. Maybe it does actually. Let's look at it because it might have cinnamon. So you see, it's got it does cinnamon right there. Bam. Sorry, it does. Warm, spicy, cinnamon, fruity, woody, citrus, sweet, amber, tobacco, aromatic, and vanilla. That actually breaks it down perfectly. That's literally what it smells like. It's very spicy right off the top. You do smell a sweet cinnamon note, coming through. And then as the time goes on, it just gets sweeter and sweeter. You can see the fruity and then the sweets down here. So, and then the tobacco will come out in the dry down the most. It's a really good one. So definitely check that one out. Azaro Wanted by Night. You can check it out in my link down in the description. If you just click on my Amazon link, which is the store link. Let me see if I can find it. This is probably one of the best. It's one of the best like nighttime date fragrances. Yeah, the price I can get it for is a little high, 118. I'll say you could probably find it at discounters cheaper, so I'm not going to link it. Just find it at a discounters. Would either be better for some lighter, slicier test. Later, Seth. Take it easy, brother. Let me see. It definitely is Diesel bad. Diesel makes some other good ones too. There may be a sticker on the bottom of the bottle. No, there is, but it says the same thing. I was just curious because the words were backwards, so I just wanted to be sure. Good night, mother. I love you. Take it easy. Um, keep that. I already read that one. So, what else did I want to talk about? There was a couple other things I was going to bring up. I don't remember now. Forget about it. We're gonna end this in about 8 minutes, so we can just sit here and shoot this shit for the next 8 minutes. Um, Strider, Hinder, or Reeves. So I like Hinder the best as far as platform, but Reeves I like the best for their grinds and for their heat treatments. So I personally would probably go with Chris Reeves, but I like Hinders more as far as the knives because I like that they have bearings. I love that they give you bearings. Chris Reeves does not. I like their action a little bit more. I love how tough and solid they are. Chris Reeves are tough and solid too. I absolutely love them. But I would really love to see Chris Reeve do a new design with bearings with modern action. Um, not that they should take away because I don't want everybody fucking doing backflips like they're gonna just suddenly drop off the face of the earth and never do washer knives again. I'm saying keep their washer knives and just drop a line that has bearings. One knife for the rest of my life. What am I picking? Probably a Spyderco Mannix, probably the Mannix XL or just the regular Mannix. That knife I think is made for long term. The locking system on a Mannix, the ball lock is made to be open and closed, open and closed, open and closed. If I only had one knife, then like let's say I'm fidgeting with my knife, right? If I only have one, I have 1,000 knives, so I can fidget with a different one every 5 minutes, and so I don't wear them out. But if I only had one knife, I need a knife that's gonna like even like a triad lock would probably be even better because the lock is made to be open and closed for for centuries. Same thing with a ball lock, which I love. And if the spring ever broke, I could always replace it. I'm currently out of the country, so I had to leave all my knives behind. Ooh, so I'm living vicariously through you. Stupid laws in other countries. That sucks, doctor. Fuck, man. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that. I almost have to like check the countries. Like, do you allow knives? And then maybe I won't be able to bring one, but when I get there, I'll just go get one. You know what I mean? Even if it's something cheap, just something to have, like just so I don't feel naked. It's like running around with my pants off. I'm out, buddy. All right, take it easy, Bones. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. Favorite flipper, $50-$75 range. I just did the best knives between $50 and $75. So you can go watch that. I just did a video on it. I did like I think between 5 and 10 knives. I wouldn't say they were my favorite flippers, but they were really good. But it just depends. Like button locks, I would say something from SenCut or Civivi probably. So I'll just go with the Civivi Sentinel Strike. There you go, Sentinel Strike. Tell you what though, this new Elementum warning, it's pretty dope. It's only like $50. And it's in Nitro V. It's like $55. Nitro V, nice deep hollow ground Warncliffe blade, multiple deployments. You can get titanium scales for it if you want it. Yo, Needs, you should try the UL Caliburn with refillable pods. Way better than the rip off of Jules. Anyway, stay rad, my man. Yeah, I know I should. I want to try a different one. I don't want to. I really don't even want to stick with these. So, um, it's, nah, they're not backwards. It's VAD by Diesel. VAD by Diesel. Oh, I'm not getting nothing. Anyways, nice to see you. Diabetic Chad. What a name. But yeah, I think like as far as flippers go, there are so many great options. Like for 75 bucks, you can get the pintail. This is small, right? It's not a big knife, but it has S35VN and some of the best geometry I've ever seen on S35VN. This thing is so thin. I almost feel like if they went any thinner, they would have blew through it. What I mean is that it's so thin that if the belt was on there any longer, it would have blew a hole through it. So that's how thin these are. They're really, really good, man. These things are so damn slicey. The Civivi pin tail. Now, obviously the Praxis is dope, right? The Civivi Praxis for $42, 44 bucks. Another good one is the Raven, the Kubi Raven. We haven't talked about this one in a while. This is a fantastic knife. Nice long knife too. Very long, aggressive blade. Titanium milled pocket clip. Nice, good ergos. Very, very smooth. Great flipping action. For $20, you can get the Ganzo FH21, and this is probably the best flipping action of all the knives I've shown. Can you imagine a $20 knife? $23 or something like that. This thing kicks like a damn mule. You can't fail this. Nobody can fail this. It's just, it's too snappy. The detent is tuned so perfectly, and the height of the flipper tab has so much leverage. If you break that detent, it's flipping, man. Even I bet you I can't. I wonder if I could cheat. Oh, so if I cheat, I can. Ooh, that time I couldn't. Yeah, it's tough, man. Even if you cheat, that's a good one. The Rage mentioned earlier, asking about toothier polished edge. Is the button lock fat carbon knife with the blade that looks kind of offset above the handle? What the fuck? Mentioned earlier, asking about toothier polished edge. Is the button lock fat carbon fiber knife? What is the button lock fat carbon fiber knife? I don't know what knife that is. With the blade that looks kind of offset above the. Are you talking about from Serge Panchico? You talking about this one? You must be talking about this one. There we go. This is the only thing I can think of that you're talking about. Where the hell is it? Oh, this. Is that what we're talking about? Because that has an offset blade and a button lock and fat carbon fiber. So it has to be what you're talking about. Any idea why it's so hard to find a ProTech Mordax? Yeah, because they won't fucking make them. That's why. They're only making them for like blade shows. So they go to like 3, 4, maybe 5 blade shows a year or some shit. They for sure go to 3. And I think they just make them for those and they sell them out there, and then that's it. They bring as many as they can for those, and then that's it. Mine's got hella detent lash, man. I got to get that fixed. Yes, they're very nice, James. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Looking into the Manix now, what do you think of the lightweight version? Do you still prefer the regular by a long shot? I do, because you can replace the scales. So I'm not sure about the lightweight. Dude, the lightweight's awesome. So don't get me wrong. The lightweight is dope as shit. It's one of the best lightweight knives you can get. However, if you get the G10 one, you can go get original goat aluminum scales and make your G10 one a lightweight while also still being very, very strong and even better ergonomics. Now, I'm not saying do that all at once, but you can at some point get another cage, right? To get a titanium cage. So now your cage is in plastic. That's an upgrade. And then a month or 2 later, get yourself some scales. You can make that knife, you can change it over time and turn it into a whole nother animal. That's the beauty with those knives too, is that when you buy it, you're not stuck with the same knife. You can modify it and change it to 100 different ways. Yes, that's it. So what was the question? Toothy or polished edge. So this is N690. So I personally would just go with a medium grit edge. I do have one of these coming, by the way, a titanium one. The titanium one's dropping in a couple days, and I have one on the way. So we will see how good it is. So yeah. Got a Manix 2 S30V on NAS for 125 bones. There you go. There you go. If you're getting a brand new one, though, use my damn Blade HQ or GP Knives link. Use my damn links. And I do appreciate it, guys. You guys using my links. Let me just say that instead of telling you guys to use my link. Let me just thank you guys for using my links, because you guys do. And it is a massive, massive benefit to the channel. It is one of the main it's one of the main incomes for the channel is the links. So obviously there's AdSense, you know, and then the memberships and shit like that, but the links are very, very important. So I do appreciate it when you guys are supporting me through the links. The next way you guys can support, and I do appreciate everybody who does this, is when you see an advertisement in the video, click on it or watch it for 30 seconds. If you can watch it for 30 seconds, it will benefit the channel. If you click on it and click off, it'll benefit the channel. You have to click on it for a few seconds and then click off. That's the only way we get paid from AdSense is if you watch an ad. So if you don't watch it, if you skip it, we don't get paid. So not a big deal. I understand. I'd hate to sit there and watch them too. So I understand why people don't watch them all the time. But you know, every once in a while, you know, if you're gonna go to the bathroom anyways or something, just kick it on, let it sit, go to the bathroom, come back, watch the video. I do, and you don't have to watch the whole thing, just 30 seconds. Anyways, so I do appreciate all the love and support, guys. We have a membership live tomorrow. Do not forget, membership live sharpening tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time. Patreons, if you're Patreon, go watch the winners, the giveaway, the winners from the giveaway, because you might have won. And shout out to all the winners. Congratulations to everybody who did win. And again, man, thank you guys for all the love and support. No way I should have waited for the titanium version. Sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I don't even know what the price is going to be or what the price difference will be. But yeah, that fat carbon fiber one looks dope either way. I mean, that one will be a lot lighter, so you'll get that. Jared, I used your link when I purchased it initially. Awesome. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, Todd, there is the membership link. If you guys want to join the membership, if you guys want to come and sharpen with us tomorrow, we will do a full episode of all sharpening talk and knife sharpening. We usually do about an hour and a half to 2 hours of knife sharpening. And yeah, it's always a fun time. So, and I'll be at the sharpening desk, so I have all my equipment there. So if there's any questions or if you need me to talk about anything, I have everything right there. So, and yeah, and it makes it to where I can help people, you know, live, you know, in real time. So guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. Work hard, stay tough. You know, society's relying on you. Until next time, peace. 12:15 Central Time. 12:15 Central Time.